Hi guys, welcome back. This is the part 2 of how to control your cortisol and overcome burnout. In part 1, we clear up the biggest misunderstanding. Cortisol is not the enemy, it is a normal hormone that helps you wake up, focus, and respond to challenges. The real problem is when your stress system loses flexibility, when it can't ramp down, or when it stays stuck in survival mode for too long. So today I want to take you deeper. I'm going to explain why burnout keeps looping, what chronic stress does to your brain's attention and motivation systems. And then I will give you a practical recovery protocol you can follow without turning your life into a wellness project. So let's start with the burnout loop that most people don't recognize. Burnout is rarely just too much work. It is usually a pattern. You feel behind, you speed up, you skip recovery. Your brain gets noisier and less efficient. Tasks take longer than they should, and then you feel even more behind, so you speed up again. And the frustration part is that the harder you push, the more stuck you feel. This is not a personality flaw. This is what your nervous system does when it's trying to protect you under chronic stress. And here is what is happening in the brain. When stress signaling is high, your brain shifts priorities. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that helps you plan, prioritize, and regulate impulse, becomes less effective. That means you can logically know what to do and still feel unable to start. At the same time, your attention system becomes more reactive. It starts scanning for problems. You feel distractible. You get pulled into a small task because they give quick closure. You avoid big tasks because they feel heavy, and you interpret that resistance as something is wrong with me, when it actually a predictable state best effect. So if your brain is feel foggy, if you feel scattered, if you feel like your patience and motivation disappeared, I want you to hear this clearly. This is not you failing, this is your biology signals getting overloaded. Now the skill that fixes not forcing productivity. The skill is nervous system flexibility. Flexibility means you can ramp up when you need to and then calm down when you don't. You can handle a stress moment and then return to baseline. You can focus and then recover. You can push and then truly rest. Burnout is often that happens when that flexibility breaks down. You either get stuck in activation, which feels like anxiety, urgency, racing thought, and irritability, or you crash into shutdown, which feel like fatigue, numbness, low motivation, and sense of I can't. So recovery is not just a take a break. Recovery is retraining your system to shift state again. And here is a simple model I want you to remember: activation, recovery, adaptation. Your body adapts when stress is followed by recovery. If you remove recovery, you remove adaptation. So you keep paying the cost of stress without gaining resilience from it. And that's why in burnout, pushing harder actually makes it worse. You add activation, but you don't add the recovery phase that tells your brain and body, we are safe now, we can rebuild. So now I am going to give you a protocol, and I want to be honest. You do not need to do everything. Pick 2 or 3 pieces and repeat them daily. Consistency matters more than intensity. So the first, protect sleep, but don't make sleep a performance. In burnout, the people often start obsessing over sleep. They track it, worry about it, fight for it, and that pressure can make sleep even more worse. So instead of turning sleep into a test you can fail, focus on two simple anchors. So number one, aim for consistent wake time most of the day. Not perfect but consistent. And second, take a short nervous system break during the day, not only at night. Most people try to grind through the entire day and then recover later. But by the end, your system is already overloaded. Once a day, preferably midday or afternoon, take a short non-sleep deep rest break. This can be 10 to 20 minutes with your closed eyes, no phone, no scrolling, no problem solving. If your mind wanders, that's fine. The point is to reduce aerosol and give the brain control downshift. You are basically saying, we are not in an urgency all the day. And when you do this consistently, you often notice something surprising. Your focus improves later, your craving drop, your irritability soften. Because you are lowering the total stress load, not just surviving it. And the third, use caffeine strategically, not emotionally. Caffeine is not evil, but in the burnout, caffeine often becomes compensation. It becomes a way to override fatigue signal, and that can backfire. So here is the rule. Keep caffeine earlier in the day and the cautious with the large dose on an empty stomach. If you notice jitters, anxiety or crash, don't assume something is wrong with you. It might just mean your system is more sensitive right now. In burnout, sensitivity increases, and that's normal. Fourth, movement is medicine, but the dose matters. If you are burnout, you don't need punishment workout. You need state regulations and the steady energy. So think of movement is two categories. Category 1 is easy movement most days, a walk, light cycling, gentle mobility. This supports circadian rhythm and recovery faster. Category 2 is higher intensity or strength work, but only if you can recover. If intense workout leave you wired at night, move them early in the day or reduce intensity temporarily. The goal is finish movement feeling better than when you started, not depleted. And then fifth, rebuild attention with one screen focus. Burnout and the attention problems often come from the constant context switching. Message, email, tab notification, micro decision. So here are the simple practice that retain focus without forcing it. Maybe one task, one screen, one timer. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Choose one small piece of one task and stay with it. You don't need a perfect deep work session. You need repetition. That repetition teaches your brain that focus is safe again. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable at first. That discomfort is a part of retraining. Number 6, stop negotiating with your brain at bedtime. Nighttime rumination is the common in burnout. Your brain tries to solve problem at night because it has no closure during the day. So you give it closure on the purpose. And before you shut down, write down 3 lines. What is done today? what can wait, and the first concrete next step tomorrow. This is not journaling, this is cognitive unloading. It tells the brain, we have a plan. You can stop scanning now. Now I want to name a factor that keeps cortisol and the stress signaling high, and people rarely talk about it. Social threat. The brain treats social threat as a real threat. Perceived judgment, conflict, rejection, comparison, or constant feeling not enough can keep stress signaling elevated. And one of the most portable sources of social threat is self-criticism. It's like carrying a threat signal inside your own mind. So when you catch yourself spiraling into, I am failing, I am behind, I can't keep up, I want you to try a different statement, not positive thinking, accurate labeling. Say I am overloaded and I am correcting the system. That one shift removes moral judgment and replaces it with action. It reduces the internal threat, and that matters for your recovery. Now let's talk about the boundaries, but in a way that actual work. People think the boundaries means saying no to everything. That's not the realistic. Our strategy is to reduce the open loop. Open loops are unfinished tasks and the unresolved decision your brain keeps tracking. Quietly keep your nervous system all the time activated. So build one daily practice that closes loops. At the end of the day, capture tasks into one trust list, just one place. Not a complicated productivity system, just a single list your brain which believe. When brain trusts the list, it stops scanning as aggressively. And then pick one boundary changes that lowers your stress the most. Not 10, just one. Maybe it's no work message in the first hour after waking. Maybe it is phone stop timing most night. Maybe it's a meeting-free block twice a week. Maybe it's pausing before you say yes. Let me check my schedule and get back to you. Agency is a powerful anti-stress signal. Brain calms down when it senses the control. Now, how do you know you are improving without overthinking it? Track 3 signals to 2 weeks. 1. Sleep quality. Not the perfect, just trending. Number 2. Reactivity. How quickly you recover after stress. Number 3. Focus resistant. Can you start a small task without needing a huge mental battle? If those are the improving, your system is recalibrating. And finally, I want to say something important. Sometimes burnout is not only burnout. If you have persistent low mood, hopelessness, panic symptoms, major insomnia, or physical symptoms that don't improve, you deserve a proper evaluation by professional. Burnout can overlap with the depression, anxiety disorder, anemia, thyroid dysfunction, and sleep disorder. Getting support is not the overreacting, it's treating root cause early. So my friend, let me close with the core message of part 2. You do not think your way out of burnout. You regulate your way out. You teach your nervous system that it is safe to downshift, and then you rebuild the capacity slowly like rehab. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.